The Great Ace Attorney, a distant prequel spin-off to the series written by its original creator Shu Takumi, released in 2015 in Japan, and due to, issues, nowhere else. Until now. I love the series, and I think these two games are among its best, so I have a lot to say about them. There's just one problem. I gave up hope on them ever being localized and spoiled myself on the entire story. I even watched full playthroughs of some of the cases in Japanese. I wasn't sure how I'd record these games. Until I realized something. I might not be blind on these games, but I know someone who is. Ever since the one part she guested in Path of Radiance, I've always wanted to do a full co-commentary series with my sister. We actually planned to do something later that year, but before we could, she got sick. She's had chronic fatigue for over 2 years now, but this year she's been feeling a lot better. And we always used to play the Ace Attorney games together, so when I brought up the idea of doing a series on this game, she thought it was great. And it's also been a great way for us to catch up during circumstances. So what you'll be seeing here is essentially how the two of us went through all the Ace Attorney games for the first time. I hope you have as much fun watching as we did playing. And with that... So, we're finally here on the title screen for Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Finally being released in English, which is amazing. And, yeah, so I've got my guest with me, if you'd like to say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, so we're going to be starting this game, which she has never actually played before, and I have not actually played the translation before, but I know a lot of details about the cases, but, the cool thing about this is that we get both the original and the sequel in the same package. And also you can actually choose any episode from the beginning, so you can actually play the cases out of order if you want, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to start from the beginning, and as I've heard, this is quite a long case one. We're just going to get right into it. So here we go.
I'm so excited.
歴史的な開国から数十年文明開化の大号令のもと極東の島国にまさに今西洋文化の大波が押し寄せていた活気に満ち溢れる帝都の民は変化革新の熱気にむせ返りその変化に戸惑う者も飲み込んで時代は大きなうねりの中にあった そして今そんな時代を舞台に一つの物語が幕を開く
So, yeah, so it's just that thing. If someone gets shot and you just happen to have your fingerprints all over the murder weapon.
Bienvenue à la... Oh, it's French. That's
Yeah.
cool. Welcome to something I didn't quite read.
We'll see what's the name of the restaurant. We'll see that in a moment.
It just sounds really weird, but I feel nostalgia when I hear, like, the typewriter.
The typing. Yeah, the typewriter.
typing.
Yeah, they even talk about that in the developer commentary, like in the interviews. They mention how, like, getting the typewriter sound just right was really kind of hard to do.
Oh, cool.
So, I just want to say also, this music might be my favorite courtroom lobby music in the entire series.
Oh,
And that's true of, like, a lot of songs in these games. I just love this game's soundtrack.
Well, that's not an impartial bailiff, is it?
No, not at all. So yeah, this is... Yeah.
Can you tell me, is there, like...
A name pun.
A name
yeah,
pun?
Yeah. So Ryunosuke Naruhodo, Phoenix Wright's Japanese name, who's this guy's descendant, is Ryuichi Naruhodo. So Ryu is dragon, which is kind of a common motif that they kind of ran with in Spirit of Justice quite a lot. And then Naruhodo means I see. So that's where the surname Wright comes from.
Awesome. Makes sense.
Also, Imperial Yume University, I think, is a reference to the name of the university in the that Phoenix went to in the Japanese version.
Oh, cool.
So, Ryunosuke is not actually a lawyer to start with. He's actually an English major at university.
Hey, nice. English literature?
Yes.
English language?
I think both.
Yeah.
Probably language, but I think a bit of literature as well. It was kind of the same thing, I think, back then. Well, this guy's already awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right about that before. Him, you know, not being impartial.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, snap.
I love the way his headband, like, blows in the wind.
I was just about to say that. That's awesome.
You won't notice this, but the controller actually vibrated with some of those sound effects.
Oh, cool.
Ryunosuke is a little bit, I would say, I don't know if it's exactly meek, but he has issues with apologizing early on.
Man after my own heart.
Yes, you apologize a lot, so that's going to be interesting. Well, the newspapers aren't impartial either.
Oh, is there a pun there?
Yeah, there's a few. A few of the puns in his name are kind of spoilers though, so I'm not going to get into them.
Oh, okay, no worries.
But Kazuma, I feel like I know Kazuma is I've heard of characters named Kazuma in Japanese media quite a bit. So yeah, so he's actually a law student.
Yeah.
And yes, because of the whole Meiji Restoration, it's like, I've taken Japanese history classes a little bit, but like, basically before this point, the feudal lords were basically judge, jury, and executioner. They didn't really have lawyers or courts that much. And then like, Matthew Perry and the American fleet arrived and with cannons, and they were like, we need to modernize really quickly. So like, within 10 years, they went from being essentially feudal to having like steam trains and like modern technology, and yeah, it was kind of insane just how quickly like Japan advanced in such a short time.
And what years are we talking, roughly?
So this is about, I think this is about 1900, 1901-ish.
Okay, around the time Australia's Federation.
Yeah, Federation, yeah, that's actually interesting. I might actually end up talking about that a little bit later. But, yeah, anyway, we're going into some actual story stuff here first. They did send a lot of people abroad in this time. Because they wanted to sort of study, study Western legal systems and Western political systems as well, to try and sort of reform their own. So a lot of people went to Britain and also Germany.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of the court system actually came from, I think, German law, more than British law. So he's actually talking about this right here, immersing yourself in legal systems of the whole world. Like, that's sort of what they did. Like, they sent cultural ambassadors out to sort of basically take notes to bring back home.
Yeah.
So the people who went on those exchange trips would have been pretty prestigious, I guess. Mr. Jerry, yes. That explains why his headband is constantly fluttering in the wind. Yeah, I still can't get over the fact that in those days, it would have taken months to get to another country. I think, like, our great-grandmother came to Australia in a ship. Like, we still have her baggage crate. In fact, it's, like, right in front of me as I'm recording this. I'm using it as a table. But yeah, I could not imagine being on a ship for months. Just... Even a 20-hour-long plane flight is torture for me.
Although, to be fair, at least on a boat, you can get up and stretch your legs and...
Yeah.
Whereas on a plane, that's tricky.
After all, it's not like there's going to be a murder in this restaurant in about 5 minutes.
No, bros.
Yeah, he is, like, pretty much best bro. That's a big theme of this early story. Yes, of course. Yes, choosing to stay in the restaurant for a few more minutes. And then...
Change the course of destiny.
Yes. Huh. Question mark. Wonder who this is. Professor. Oh yes, this case has personal use to me, but I'm not going to talk about that now. It's not like it's going to be vital to the case or anything. Gotta keep everything mysterious in the first moments. The character portrait is animated so well in this, like that bow is just so
I was just thinking that.
The bow is just really fluid. Like, they've come a long way since just the sort of static pictures and poses of the early games.
This is awkward. Wish you a sorry counter.
There probably should be, yes. So, we know we can trust this guy because Eugene literally means friend.
Hey!
And Mikotoba, I think, is like beautiful words.
Oh, cool. Maybe he's quite eloquent. I suppose we'll see.
He said Professor of Forensic Medicine, though. Yes, best friend is so important that we put it in orange text.
Oh no. Stakes! There are stakes now. Well,
Yes.
also, you going to jail.
Yes.
That's quite a high stake already, but there's more stakes!
Yeah, he didn't want that pressure. I suppose they just want, like, the absolute best, and if they see him losing a case there, they'd lose their faith in him.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, yeah, now this music is playing, let me just say this. I love the suspense themes in these games. Like, in the early Ace Attorney games, like, the suspense theme, they used the same song for every game, and it was just like...
Yeah.
Like, it was just the same kind of thing for every game. Here, they actually made them kind of orchestral. They sound like real sort of songs, rather than just kind of glorified sound effects.
Yeah, this is sort of strings, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
it's
can
strings,
hear 'em.
yeah. I think
That's awesome.
this is one of the first Ace Attorney games to have a completely new suspense theme as well.
Mm. But what if the question is, do you plead guilty?
Exactly. Oh, he's saying that already.
Well, there you go. Oh.
I don't know if
These
they're...
bailiffs are a bit intense, aren't
Yes,
they?
I don't know if they're even allowed to do that. Like, oh yeah, you didn't show up for your trial, guilty.
Bailiffs, the drunk with power.
This is a really, really great trial intro. Like, there's just so much suspense and just, just so many questions left unanswered and mysteries and just really getting you psyched for this. 22nd of November, okay. Oh, number 2. I feel like a lot of the cases in the early games take place in number 4. I don't know why, but it's just often 4. Oh, by the way, yeah, Ryunosuke's nervous eyes are amazing.
Isn't the number 4 sometimes associated
With
with death?
Yes.
So maybe sort of a pun there, but...
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, his eyes.
Yeah, I love his nervous eyes so much.
Deer in headlights. Poor
Yeah,
man.
yeah, you're going to be seeing that a lot in this first case, by the way. Oh, getting like a full panning shot, too. Yeah, I was about to say they look very military.
Oh. Oh, the music.
And this guy is our prosecution. And yes,
And he looks somewhat like another prosecutor.
yes, he does. Yes, he does. And also, ouchie, yes, that is a pun on what you think it is. And yes, he had this name in the Japanese version too. That's why it got translated as Pain.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Winston Payne.
Yeah. And I think actually, I think Shu Takumi, the creator of the series, said that Winston Payne was partially based on an old dentist that he had.
Oh, really?
Like, apparently.
Oh, I see. I do. Ooh,
Well,
choices.
this is one of those choices that really, it actually doesn't matter what you say, it always happens the same way, but yeah, I think this is what we need to do. So I'll also just mention that I do have the voices on Japanese because we're in we're in a trial that's in Japan. I thought that'd be appropriate. But I might change them halfway through the case because I want to hear what Aochi's English voice acting sounds like.
Yeah, that would be interesting, actually. Oh.
Basically taking the bullet for his friend here.
Calling a Samwise. No. Oh.
Well, he's already like his descendants.
Yeah. Your eyes kind of give it away, dude.
Yeah.
As does the sweat. Do you know what that character means?
Yeah, I was about to say, the kanji on that fan is guilty. I believe.
Oh, there you go.
I hope I'm not wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's guilty.
Mm.
Oh yes, the very highest of standards are required. This is definitely not going to be a trial that goes completely off the rails within the first 5 minutes, as all Ace Attorney trials are wont to do.
Oh.
I like the internal monologues that all the characters have in this series.
I also like that often, especially with protagonists like Phoenix Wright or even Apollo, you sort of see their insecurities
Yeah.
and anxieties, but then they rise above it and just do the best they can. I think that's really endearing as well.
Oh boy, then I will say you're really going to like this case then.
Oh.
So, we actually have not, like, seen his name yet.
No.
Because we don't have access to the court record.
Oh no!
I mean, I admit, it must be really, really terrifying if you were doing this. Like, not only being your first time as a lawyer ever, but defending yourself. On charges of murder. I mean, anyone would be this nervous.
Of course, absolutely.
So we're going to introduce our first tutorial. So, yeah, fourth wall break there. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
So instead of the attorney's badge, we have our university pin.
Oh, cool.
And then if you press R, you can switch to people. So yeah, we've got profiles.
Nice.
So yeah, we have Eugene Mikotoba, 42. And Kazuma's mentor, we didn't know that before. Taketsuchi Aochi. So his first name, the kanji in it look very similar to the kanji for samurai, and I actually think that's very deliberate, but I'll talk about that more later.
Interesting.
And
Da, da, da.
Yep. So this is about the point where, like if you're playing this blind and you go in here, it obviously made a little bit more impact in the Japanese version when his name wasn't copyright changed. But yeah, you see the name of the victim, and yep. So yeah, this is partly plays into why this case is a secret closed trial as well. Yep, Professor of Medicine from the British Empire. Yeah.
Watson's dead!
Yes! Or, as I like to call him, Dr. Knotson in this version. So we have to find out who killed Dr. Knotson.
Oh, we might have to have a pun off during
Oh,
this
no.
playthrough.
The game will probably beat both of us, just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so we have to go here and then press X to present. This is actually interesting because I've never played an Ace Attorney game on a console before, so I'm used to doing this via, like, a touchscreen.
That's true, yeah. Hey.
So
I'm
you
glad you chose Japanese voice acting for this case.
Yeah, and you might also notice that we didn't say take that, we just said hi.
That's true.
So he's just treating this whole thing like he's just in a class. Yeah, this is, that's why. So yeah, this is why this case is being kept under wraps.
Politics.
Yeah, politics, because if the British Empire found out that one of their citizens got murdered on Japanese soil by presumably a Japanese person, yeah.
It's interesting though, isn't it, how ideas of an individual's actions can reflect poorly on a collective.
On a collective, yes.
Yeah, because there's, anyway, raises a lot of interesting issues.
Oh no, they want to speed up the trial. That never ends well.
Nope.
So yes, this guy's very blunt about politics right now. Yeah, they're kind of like, let's just let this...
Wrap this up.
Yeah.
Sweep it under the rug.
Sweep it under the rug.
Some student.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah, like already, this game is kind of interesting because there's a lot more kind of sort of real-world societal issues in it than the average Ace Attorney game. I mean, the earlier Ace Attorney games were satires of the Japanese legal system, but a lot of that got lost in translation. Yes, but it's all about the truth.
No, don't do it! Leave the cafe, leave!
So we're getting a bit more of the flashback now.
We don't know that yet, do we?
I feel like this is often, like, in the earliest cases, they usually ask you the victim and the cause of death as, like, a court record tutorial.
I'm assuming gunshot since the opening cutscene showed him with a gun in his hand, but we'll see.
So yeah, so we've got that, the university pin, which obviously proves the cause of death, right? No. Post-mortem...
Stabbed to death by a pin!
Stabbed to death by pin. Little after 2 p.m. was caused by a loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. But if we press A, though, we can get a bit of a more detailed look, and you definitely want to make sure that you get a more detailed look at every piece of evidence, because sometimes there are things in here that have implications for later. For example...
Fight at close range.
Yes, yes. See, like, you've always got to look for specific wording in autopsy reports. Bullet did not pass through the body as well.
The classic paper shuffle. Hemorrhagic death. Hemorrhage is a super hard word to say if you're not familiar with the pronunciation.
Yeah, like, okay, part of me wonders, and, like, I'm hoping this isn't getting too sort of deep into, like, cultural stuff here, but, like, a lot of the time, like, when they were in the Shogunate period, there were a lot of Buddhist influences that gave Japan, like, a very big aversion to directly dealing with dead bodies, and a lot of professions that dealt with dead bodies were sort of shunned by society, like butchers. So I wonder if that plays into this.
Because even in in some other cultures too, even like in Jewish cultures, from my understanding, dead bodies are considered unclean, and there are like rules and regulations about how to approach them.
Yeah. But at least we have photographs in this time, so that's somewhat helpful. And yeah, Ace Attorney loves this, where there's gunpowder burns, so it means the bullet was shot at close range. And unfortunately, we were standing right in front of him when the gunshot happened, so...
But then, how could you not see the killer who was shot at close range and you were right there?
Exactly. Just, I wonder, like, you know, how much must go into writing these mysteries. Like, they're just gotta... It's all gotta make sense, but it's also gotta all be so mysterious until you figure out the exact particulars.
I studied the crime genre in English at school.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we had to learn the
yes,
art of making it simple enough that people can figure it out so they feel a sense of satisfaction, but complicated enough that it's not that obvious.
Yeah, there's also a thing as well about, like, you know, you, the writer, obviously, like, you can't assume you know the audience's sort of track of mind as well. Like, things that are obvious to you, and it applies to game design as well. Anything that's obvious to you, the creator, is not necessarily obvious to the general public who'll actually play or read your story.
So true.
So people will often just have, like, they'll have, like ideas they think, oh yeah, people are obviously going to catch on to this foreshadowing, and then no one does. It's a huge problem within, like, Dungeons & Dragons campaigns if you're trying to run a murder mystery as a dungeon master.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was a big victim in English class at school of being a bit too surreal with my metaphors.
Oh yes, the
sandcastle.
The sandcastle story. Yes, one day we'll talk about the sandcastle story.
Classic sandcastle story.
They're going to call witnesses a moment, so I guess I should stop my tangent here. But, like, there's a thing in D&D, they say, like, if you're doing a mystery, you should always include at least 3 clues to every revelation, because your players will miss the first, misinterpret the second, and then jump to their own wild conclusion that happens to align with the 3rd clue anyway. Or something like that.
That's cool. Hey, I thought that would happen.
Yeah, well, he's technically not the defense lawyer if he's just an assistant. I was gonna say that this is, like, one of the first times you've had a, like, a male assistant in an early case, apart from, like, Kristoff in Apollo Justice.
Oh, yeah,
But then I realised that it's kind of necessary, because in this time they wouldn't have let women be legal assistants.
That's true too. I like the expression "sticking his oar in."
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting, like, they were careful to avoid expressions that only became common, like, in modern times.
That's really clever. The headband's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. So, first witness. Also, this game has its own unique theme music for witnesses introducing themselves.
Oh, cool.
I believe it's called, like, Witnesses Enter the Great Court or something. Also, the Professor Layton game did that too. But also, so Satoru Hosonaga. Hosonaga, I believe, is thin and long.
Interesting.
And Satoru, I think it actually comes from, like, words for truth, maybe. But, like, I don't know why. It might be because of Satoru Iwata, like a former Nintendo president who was amazing. But I've always liked the name Satoru.
If it's like long and thin truth, it's like the long arm of the law. I don't know.
So this guy's a waiter. And yes, this was the word you missed earlier.
There you go.
Carnival. So I think this was actually changed in English. It was like La Quantos in the Japanese version, but there it was a pun on, like, kuan, which is eat in Japanese. So I guess it sounds like carnivore or...
Also, I feel bad. Before I said it was French, but maybe it's Spanish. I couldn't quite.
Yeah, it might be.
I looked at it so quickly. Yeah.
Also, he's coughing and bleeding from his mouth.
I just noticed that. That can't be good.
Yeah, I think, like, the word restaurant would be relatively new to Japan at this point.
Yeah. Again, I love in modern day English, if someone said a so-called restaurant, it'd be like a slur or like a sort of sarcastic. Whereas in this case, it's probably more literal, as in it's more of a nomenclature. The main restaurant is relatively new. Oh.
Well, there'll be time for those later.
Oh, nice pun there. I like it.
Well, that's good. It keeps the list of suspects small.
No, poor man.
Okay, so he didn't directly see the gunshot. He was in the kitchen when it happened.
Mm. Yes, that's 101. You don't pick up the gun. but you know, fair.
Oh, wow, this guy's objection sounds kind of interesting. It's deeper than I expected. Because normally, like, the Payne family have very high-pitched, screechy-sounding objections.
Mm. Penalty.
Yeah, I guess introducing the health system here. Yes, now is not the time for interrupting. That will come later. Of course, you're allowed to ask him questions. I mean, we all know what he's going to say here.
Hey. Ooh. I was thinking wait and see, because then I assume you can cross-examine him and bring up inconsistencies, but I don't know.
I'm not sure which is correct here, but I'm going to go with what you said.
There you go. Yep, you and I are definitely more rules-based personalities.
Well, I mean, you know, it depends on the situation.
That's true. Of course.
Always depends on the situation. Like, what was that? What was that quote from like Avengers, where it's like I understand, like from Nick Fury, it's like I understand that like the board made a decision, but given that it's a stupid ass decision, I've decided to ignore it.
That's right.
Oh yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it's kind of high pitched.
Pitched. Dude, it's his first time. Be nice. Ooh. Be interesting to know what those kanji are on the left.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, actually. Like you know, and off the top of my head, I don't really know, like, a whole lot of them.
Unless that's the kitchen, or like maybe
It
the
might be,
kitchen's
yeah.
one of those rooms on the left, and
Yeah.
then another's like the entranceway.
This game actually does subtitle Japanese characters in the evidence descriptions if you hover over them.
Oh, cool.
So once we look at it in the court record, we can do that. I think I can recognize the kanji for entrance as well. Because those are like characters you learn in very, very early Japanese class. It's like entrance and then like opening.
That makes sense. It's quite practical for.
Yeah. I think because it helps you navigate train stations in Japan. I recognized a few of those when I was over in Japan at the time. Back, like, at high school. Actually, we both went on that trip.
We did. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Oh, someone's a bit hesitant.
Yeah. Something is very off about this. Already the first witness, and there's a lot of weird things about this guy. I don't think I've heard that word before, like princess.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Neither have I. That's awesome. Princess. No.
Oh, they say black and white case, not open and shut case. Ah, yes, the whole plea deal thing.
I just looked up priestess, by the way, a summary or abstract of a text or speech.
Oh, that makes sense. Witness is plural.
Interesting.
So there's more than just this guy. Even though they said that there was no one else in the restaurant at the time except for the Englishman and us.
No, don't give up. Ah, his face. That's a great stare.
Hey, you know, maybe because there are so many peculiarities, it's exactly why that we need to push this. Seems like not just witnesses, but maybe the government is hiding something here. Well, you know, besides forged evidence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, let's not go... Oh, I was about to say something, but then I don't want to... That's technically a spoiler for one of the games.
That's an interesting sentence. Are you going to give up on that? Are you going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? It's kind of tying in both notions of sort of duty and respecting the trust of his friend, but then also self-worth and self-respect. It's kind of tying in almost individualism and a sense of duty. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, you can recap stuff.
Yeah. Your face. I love the expressions so far. I think they're done really well.
Yeah, that's... And first point!
First point!
Yeah, the expressions are just one of the best things about this series. They just have so much character. Like, there are entire video essays on YouTube dedicated to talking about how awesome the animations and expressions are in this series. Like,
Wow,
look at, like just from this guy's poses, you can tell this guy is just smug and condescending and just...
Absolutely. It's body language. It's
thinks that he's already
so well
won.
done.
Like, he thinks he's already won the trial.
Ooh. Again, witnesses plural.
You might remember these guys, though. They were in the opening movie.
They were, yeah.
So do you notice this?
What is Judy?
Yes, sir, no, sir.
Yes sir, no sir.
Yeah.
That's so clever.
So this guy was actually, his name was different in Japanese, but because the pun was like impossible to understand in English, it was like Taizo Uzukumaru or something. In fact, it's a pun that a lot of people still haven't been able to fully figure out. So they changed to something
yes
that's
sir, no sir.
a little bit more understandable.
That's very clever. Yeah.
But they kept all the major characters' names the same.
Mm.
Curio Collector.
So definitely collector.
Yes.
Is it there?
And
Yeah, nice.
Curio is like, curious.
I like curiosity,
Yeah.
even to curate something.
Yeah,
maybe?
like that, yeah.
Ah,
In Japanese, his
cool.
pun was quite different. It was Sono Higurashi Senmon, or Sanmon. And I think it literally means, like, making a tiny amount of money day by day.
Interesting. Curio collector. That's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yes, all these people were present, despite the fact that they said that barely anyone was there. Oh yeah, but I think they did say, like, there are only 3 tables where people
They were
dining.
occupied,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were occupied. So this guy's whole thing is that he's very verbose and very, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I think in the Japanese version he was talking in very, very old-fashioned Japanese.
Mm.
So, in other words, he's just like a pushy salesman. Actually, no, wait, he's like that guy in Disney's Hercules who just comes up and says, "Hey, wanna buy a sundial?"
Oh, the sundial man.
Yeah, because the waiter was in another room at the time.
Mm. So he says.
Oh, yes.
And military language is clearly his thing. Oh.
Yeah, like, because I think in terms of Japanese, like, the kind of language that you use for military terms, it's quite different to how you would talk in normal speech.
And now that he's just mentioned a strange noise from the last thing he said, I didn't actually say anything. I wondered if that was something on our end in terms
No,
of
it wasn't.
our
It
microphones.
wasn't. It wasn't.
Hey, okay, cool. Good to know. Just a wee bit.
I'm always uncomfortable.
Hey!
That's my secret. I'm always uncomfortable.
Oh, it's going to be our first testimony. I mean, the waiters was technically as well, but acerbic. I think that's a new word for me too.
I think it's like bitter. I think it's used for like a lot of sort of food related stuff sometimes. I love the testimony theme so much.
You're right, acerbic, tasting sour or bitter, but also sharp and forthright. Oh, there was that noise again. From the back. Hmm.
Is this the first time we're seeing the judge taken aback like this?
I think it is, yeah. It almost sounds like a baby crying very briefly. I know that sounds a bit odd. How does he know it was English made?
I suppose it's sort of obvious. I think at the time, like Japan had a lot of firearms imported from Portugal and I think Dutch traders in Nagasaki, so it might have been very distinctive from what they would have.
Is that implying he picked it up before the gunshot happened?
Yeah, implying that he did it slightly before, and it had to go off. It happened to go off while he was holding it. And this is the second suspense theme, by the way. There's actually two of them.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if the antiques dude was on his hands and knees looking for something, quote unquote, could he have fired a shot from under the table? But we'll find out.
Yes, there is no room for doubt at all, despite the fact that the antique dealer just said that he was looking for something but didn't specify what that something was.
Just a absconded curio.
Yes. That's the first thing that jumps out in my mind as a press this.
No, I love the hand raise. What's Hachimaki?
It's a headband. It's that kind of Japanese style headband.
Oh,
I
cool.
think the headband Ike has in Path of Radiance is one of those.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the early part of this case is interesting because Kazuma kind of carries you for a lot of it.
I suppose it makes sense because
It does,
a
yeah.
case 1 tutorial.
Yeah.
Expose the light. Let's go.
I love how the pathetic slap, how like Kazuma just did the bang and then Ryunosuke is just like slap. Just doesn't quite have the death slam down yet.
He's got this. He's got this.
So yeah, we can press by pressing like L. And we still get yes for that. Not even hold it.
How was the steak? Was it medium? Well done. Oh.
I thought I could come up with a question while I was objecting. I didn't.
So, do you eat steak often? What was that noise again? Attention! That's great.
Yeah, I love, like, even though, like, it takes longer, I love getting the optional press conversations because they're just so good most of the time.
So good. You're a murderer, confess you're guilty, go to prison, then when you get out of prison, try it! Priorities.
Affirmative. I love it when when witnesses oh yeah, there's an achievement system in this game, by the way.
Oh, cool.
I love it when witnesses like sort of character quirks catch on with like the other characters, like they end up repeating them by mistake.
Find the virtues.
Okay.
Particularly fine. Golden curio.
So should we press everything or should we just focus on the sort of very suspicious ones?
I'm keen to press everything. I know it takes longer though, so but maybe to start with. I know what you're talking about. Oh, it's a koban.
So a korban, you probably know what that is actually.
Oh yeah.
It's the thing on Meowth's forehead.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I forget when the Hoi period was. That must have been quite a while back. Yeah, I know the Kofun era, and yeah. In other words, he wanted a rich person to buy it.
Good translation there.
Oh yeah, the amulet coin in Pokemon that doubles money. That's called the amulet korban in Japanese.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, don't
Are you insinuating that I'm poor?
blatant subordination. Okay, so they didn't set up to talk about antiques, it just was a coincidence. So I assume that's the one we need to press, most importantly. I think someone's dramatizing a little bit. Timing is important. R. A double R. There's the sound again.
I mean, it is somewhat true that if you're a soldier, you probably do have that kind of just sense of, you know, when something's about to happen, but still. I kind of want to press this one first, because I'm wondering something about that previous one, so I just want to see if...
Me too.
I just want to press this one, because I get the feeling that the fourth statement is the one we need to present on.
Yeah. I agree.
But sometimes the early testimonies, you have to press everything because because sometimes they give you more evidence or more information.
Yeah. Ooh. This time he's being aggressive. I've just been showing the red treasure to the military man.
That's a very, like, that animation reminds me of the Professor Layton crossover.
Curious case of the vanishing comma. See on the floor.
Acquaints myself with the intricacies.
Oh, that's a great line.
So one of them heard it and the other claimed to have seen it.
Thought it was no concern of mine.
Though it was no concern.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, right. Interesting that one claims to have seen it, one claims to have heard. Evidence. Yeah, I agree with you. I think I know what we.
Yeah, so I think I know what the issue is here.
So do I.
This is just like whenever you reach the end of a testimony, you always get a hint.
Yeah. I remember sometimes we'd press everything and get to the end, and then have to like skip through with this kind of
because you have to you see this over and over again.
And you have to restart.
Yeah. Thankfully, they're nowhere near as crazy with 100% penalties as they were in, I forgot, I've recently looked at walkthroughs of the second game, and there are some brutal questions in that one. Like, there's one where you have to point out a spot on a photo, and if you point to the wrong spot, it's an instant game over.
Wow.
Yeah. The second game was really, really insane with instant game overs.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah. The second one's probably one of the hardest in the series, actually.
Alright, so let's skip ahead to
what I think is the issue here is this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So, if we go to present here, and...
Yeah, I agree with the photograph, because he was shot from the front of the chest.
Yep, you got it too.
Not from
Good.
the back. Inconsistency! There you go.
And because the gunpowder burns are all on the front, so there's no way that Yeah.
You can do it, buddy.